Good morning. Today we are doing legs. Um, for me, at least, my leg workout tends to be a little bit more on the boring side because I don't have, not say I don't have, but um, I like to keep it more limited in a sense. So for my legs, usually I like to just do it in my own gym. I know the outside gym there's like leg curls, legs extension. Unfortunately, we do not have hack squat, pendulum squat, or like leg presses. Leg presses maybe, but it's not the most optimal setup. It feels very unsafe for heavyweight, and the maximum weight I can go is 90. So it's not that big of a growth in a sense, and I also don't want to do high reps. Cause for legs, I prefer to keep it lower, like 8 to 10. But I like to play with the weights a lot, which is why my leg workout tend to be very boring, and I just make use of what I have. Plus, squat is always has been like a good bodybuilding exercise, like just in terms of your overall health and wellness in general. So for this session, I'm going to try something out. The last session that I tried squatting, which I failed to record because it wasn't up to par, I actually did a 10 reps of 80 for about 3 sets. And I was feeling very, I'll say very, but I was feeling lightheaded, um, like dizzy, but it was still within safe measures. Like I could recover fast from that and then carry on. So it wasn't to a point where I had to tell myself, nope, I will not do this again. But rather it's more of, okay, I'm pushing my body. But this time I'm gonna try a bit different. I'm gonna do 60, 80, 80, 60. 8 reps each. 8. Cause yeah, I mean why not, right? Maybe for the last one, when I drop back down to 60, I may do 10, but we'll see. My knees feeling kind of clacky. In one of my first few videos, someone actually commented that I could reach a lot more depth in my squats. And I mean, his statement really did benefited me a lot. It helped me a lot. Because last time when I squat, my legs tend to be closer. Like my shoulder is here, my feet would like be right here. Like roughly around shoulder width, or if not much more narrow. And because of that, when I squat, my knee tend to push forward in this direction. And then I could only go so low. Then I remember when I was in the commercial gym once, and I was like kind of homey with this one guy. And I saw his squat stance was really, really wide. In fact, it was like way further than shoulder width. And I went to him, I'm like, I just asked him a few advice, gym bro to gym bro. Why do you choose this form? And he said because of his body structure, he opted for a wider stance so he can go lower and he can really bend his knee, and like there's more flexibility in the knee and the hip movement. So I decided to give that a try, and I felt a lot more comfortable with that, as well as I'm able to hit a much deeper depth than normal. So previously my depth would be like what I thought would be here. Here's a good spot because I thought this was really stretching it, but you can tell it's still angled upwards. Then I also went to watch a lot of powerlifting videos, and the squat depth was insane. Not say insane, but it was really like 90 or below. So I decided to spread out my stance, and then I realized I could reach 90 or below. And also like mentally when I squat, because I do not have a mirror, I only use like the reflection of the bar as, but when I squat, mentally I was telling myself, okay, I have reached a depth of 90 degree, but looking back at the footage, it was more than that. It was a good like solid 100 degree or whatnot. So this is also like a good reason why, if you really want to check your form, it's good to have a buddy with you to brief you on what your form was like. It's good to have a mirror, or just set up your camera, record yourself. But of course, the last option nowadays, it tends to be a little bit more on the toxic side. So just be wary of it. I mean, it's supposed to be a wholesome community, If you want to record yourself, go for it. If you want to check your form for the greater good, just be a little bit more shameless about it. Because a lot of people tend to be more on the self-conscious side. Oh, what if this guy thinks I'm just a wannabe influencer? What if this guy thinks I'm here for attention? What if, So, I mean, as long as your head is you're really telling yourself, okay, this is purely to check my form, let's just do it. Oftentimes it's just what your head thinks. Like, is this guy really looking at me in the gym? Is this guy really whatever? But if you think about it, like 99% of the time, none of us care. Like, if I were to ask you, why do you go to the gym? It's to check other people out. No, right? So it's to improve on yourself. It may be I want to lose some weight, I want to look more lean, whatever it is. You, at the end of the day, you're kind of realizing that it's a self-improvement objective in mind. Yeah, I mean, there may be like a pretty girl or a handsome guy there, and you may just catch a quick look every once in a while, but ultimately it's just you're achieving your own goal. So at the end of the day, you kind of realize that even you yourself don't bother about other people. So why do you think people actually bother about you? But of course, there'll be that 1% people who are like, safe to say I'm really getting used to the belt over here. Although I've been really using just one prong. But I think that's good enough for me. I'm gonna try 2-prong now because it's more acceptable for my tummy. I don't think I've been hitting that. So that's something I need to work on. I'll take a look. Look more at my ass to see whether I've been hitting that. But how I saw it, it was like very borderline, and training wise, it's not the best. It's not optimal. So I'm gonna try to pause a little bit longer at the bottom to get that tension in as well, because the moment I went down, I immediately went up. Nothing wrong with it, no, nothing wrong, but it's just like really the quality of your workout, you know. It's good, but it can be better. Oh, this is a good song, but too bad I'm resting. Anyway, while I'm resting, maybe I'll talk about, a little something that has been happening, which is nothing. I've been learning Japanese, self-learn, obviously, because I don't know, I just find having classes is good, but it's too much of a commitment, especially when you have like other major thing going on in your life. So at first I started off with a book. I bought a book. I was reading it and then just reading it out, whatever. Then I realized, reading is not, because the reason why I want to learn Japanese is not too much of back then it wasn't too much of reading, but I want to just have conversation. Very simple one, like I just say, oh, I want to go there, I want to eat these, something like that, Then after a while, I was relying on Google Translate. So I say, okay, how do you say this? How do you say that? And then it was really messy. And then I realized, oh, so this is actually how you pronounce it. Then I realized my pronunciation was all wrong. So then I decided to learn through, and reading was also you need a lot more self-discipline. So I decided to resort to videos. So I went to watch YouTube videos. It was a lot more helpful because I could hear how they pronounce it. And Japanese people, they tend to speak very, very fast. And although when you read it, for example, so Japanese in a polite way, they always like to end not say always, but sometimes they like to end their sentence with, on paper, it will say desu. So D-E-S-U, desu. But when you actually hear them say IRL, they just say des. It's like D-E-S, des. So for example, if I want to introduce myself, if like, let's say my name is Tarano, so I'll be like, on paper, you read it as Tarano desu, I'm Tarano. But actually, if you were to actually say it out loud, it'll be Tarano desu. Tadano desu. Tarano desu. So the U is silence. And sometimes when they like to ask a question, okay, so for context, when you ask a question, you add a ka behind at a part. So like, for example, where is the train station? So train station is eki. So for Japanese, they like to put the subject or the object first. Yeah. So it'd be, if I were to direct translate, it'd be train station where. So it'd be eki. Eki wa doko means desu. Eki wa doko desu ka? On paper, if you were to read it without hearing it, you read it as Eki wa doko desu ka? Eki wa doko desu ka? So you can hear the desu. So but in reality, it's actually Eki wa doko desu. No, Eki wa doko desu ka? Then after that, I decided to use Duolingo. It can be a little bit long-winded, but it's very, very helpful. I also decided to learn to read the Japanese word, the hiragana and katakana. Because I myself am a Chinese person, so kanji is not really needed. Because most of the time, for example, Tokyo, the Chinese word for it, like although it's not pronounced as what the Chinese may pronounce it, but I do recognize it. And ever since I learned how to read it, I'm still learning. I'm still not proficient in reading it, but it's actually been a lot more helpful. I can identify words a lot better, and I can my learning process is much more streamlined in a sense. Right, enough talking. Third set. We paused for a while. I'm sorry. I had to adjust my stance a little bit. It was wide at the knee, narrow at the feet. Threw me off a little bit. I think for my second half, my knee kind of caved in at the third rep. I need to take a look. And I noticed my hamstring being worked out a lot. So instead of doing RDLs later, I might do goblet squat to target the quads. Check the footage. I think I was kind of hitting that. But in my head, I was playing like I was as low as squatting. So, but I mean, if I were to give myself an excuse, it'd be I'm not that flexible yet because I'm not fully recovered. This kind of knee injury kind of takes like months, half a year or so. Kind of just maintaining it now. Anyway, last set. For the first exercise, before I just move on to goblet squat and call it a day. Like I said, legs is always very boring. At least for me. I forgot. Good song. Very wobbly. Very wobbly. Imbalance here and there. Maybe I should focus a little bit more on isolation. But other than that, I think the intensity was there. Oh. Sometimes I don't know how to hold this. Should I do this? You know, if I do this and squat, it's kind of better as well because it focuses a lot on core. Or should I just hug it? I think this nice. White stance. All the way down and up. Now it is on a lighter side, but this is somewhat my form of physiotherapy, so I don't go too stressed on this little boy right here. Truth be told, I was expecting myself to do like 10 to 15. Then when I start to feel a little bit of straining over here, pull it back, put in more rest block, and we are good to go, I guess. I thought I was recording. I went and did 2 sets, talk a whole bunch of nonsense, walk to my camera, black screen. Anyway, last set, best set. Is it though? I hope. Oh, I shall now proceed to a year worth of hiatus, laying in bed, binge eating potato chips and pizza, and come back and say, Bob went wrong.